Good evening, and oh my god, we're back again. We are here again for another game of TTS MCP. This is the Season 10 Second Chance event, and I am joined once again by my good friend Dan, aka Kingpin, aka The Monguli Show. He is back once again to join us. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. This is looking like it's going to be a good matchup, and I am here for it.
Wonderful. Well, we haven't missed much. The players have just rolled for priority, and it looks like Lou the Lunatic has taken it. And today his opponent is going to be Amakua. Omakua? Omakua. I'm going to butcher that. I have no idea. So we'll call him Omakua for now. And he is going to be playing X-Men. So Weapon X is going to be Lou's poison of choice, but we've seen his team. We'll address that as we're going in. But Omakua is going to be running Beast, Colossus, Crimson Dynamo, Domino, Logan, Rogue, Scarlet Witch, Storm, Toad, and X-23. We already had a quick peek at his team tactics card, so there is no potential for a flex into Weapon X. And this is a very nice weapon, a very nice X-Men team with a very decent Crimson Dynamo splash. What do you think, Dan? Just looking at this, first impressions.
My first impressions are, while I do like Storm's leadership, I wouldn't hate seeing a secondary leader option, whether that comes in the form of "Are you sure you want to remember?" or a different leader on the team. There's nobody that can team up with Crimson Dynamo to get his leadership up, so you know he's going to be running Storm. Nothing wrong with that. Storm's again a good leader, a good three cost. I just sometimes like to make my opponent guess a little bit, and I guess with this one, we're just going to know what he's going to play going into it.
That's absolutely fair. There is a lot of discussion these days on Storm's leadership and just how good it is. It's arguably one of the best standalone leaderships, just in terms of what you get out of it. Um, and obviously, some of the team tactics cards are great. They have a lot of really strong in affiliation characters that we also see outside of that affiliation. And I'm excited to see the Logan versus Logan matchup. Looks like
I agree. I personally, I really do like Storm's leadership. I think it's a little unfortunate that it's attached to Storm, but for three cost, she does do some things, and her leadership is too good to ignore. So I think it still works out.
completely agree. So let's get into while the players are picking their rosters or picking their teams. Sorry, let's go over the crisis. So for secures, we're going to have demons downtown, and for our extracts, we're going to have Paranoia Pummels Populace. We've seen Paranoia Pummels Populace a lot on this channel. I think it's the most used extract. As for secure, demons downtown, pretty sure this is our first one that we're seeing. But this is going to lean very, very heavily into an attrition based match.
Absolutely. Both of these are definitely going to be heavy hitters for their teams and for their crises. Demons Downtown, you're going to have a lot of people with the Incinerate special condition. And for the Paranoia Pummel's Populace, Weapon X likes this one quite a bit because they will take some damage, but they just heal it back at the end of their turn anyways, so they don't really care that much about it.
Absolutely right. We've seen Luke play this. It's been the most popular because it seems like Luke always wants to pick his extracts, and it just so happens that he lands on this extract. Sorry, the most common, the most often. And then so that means that Almakua has brought demons downtown, which obviously means he has a very good play for it. Cover from Storm really, really does help that. And also being able to use the Storm Hop allows him to set up a double tap onto a potentially incinerated character. Now, I think this is the first time Demons has been on the channel, so I'm just going to spend a couple of moments to just talk about it. There are 3 Flaming Portal tokens on the board, right down the center of the table there. Each one is worth 1 victory point if you are contesting it at the end of your turn, or if you're securing it, I guess. And during the power phase, if you're within 1, you gain the Incinerate special condition, which lowers your defensive rolls by a single dice. It doesn't affect dodge rolls, but does affect defense rolls. So that means that anyone who is on fire is going to want to play a little bit safer, and those who are, and they're also going to be juicy, juicy targets, especially with a Logan on the board.
Absolutely. This is a little bit scary going into a Weapon X team who is looking to do that attrition damage. They're trying to do a lot of damage to you, and the less defense you have against them, the easier it's going to be. Looks like we've got our X-Men team. Maybe it's still covered up on the side of the board, but it looks like it's going to be Storm, Domino, Colossus, Rogue,
And Toad.
and Toad.
Hmm. Now, I'm interested by the Colossus pick. We don't see him very often, but this seems like a very good setup for him. A lot of Incinerate going nearby, and having a bodyguard to just direct fire onto him is going to be, could be extremely useful. I'm actually excited to see how this one plays out.
I have only played with Colossus, I think, twice, and neither time was I blown away by him, but both times I had fun. So it depends on what you're looking to do with him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So on the other side of Lou the Lunatic, we have gone with Logan, Honey Badger, X-23, Sabretooth Apex Predator, and Domino. This is very interesting. Both players have brought Domino on an auto incinerate mission, putting uh, a lot of stock into her rapid fire ability. Also worth mentioning that Honey Badger has brought Jonathan the Unstoppable. And to me, that's a sign of intent. That's a sign that he's going to drop Jonathan on the back flaming portal and then just go all out into Almakua.
And the nice thing to note is while the Incinerate token you can obviously only have one of, but with Honey Badger, her ability does not give Incinerate, although it does the same thing. So if she's within one of the opponent that you are attacking, they will get one less defensive dice. If you can pair that up with the Incinerate, that's two less defensive dice for potentially a lot of damage.
That's absolutely right. I don't know what we're rolling for currently. I don't know what's happening. But Apex Predator
I'm not
has been
sure.
put down. Um, yeah, you made an excellent point. Honey Badger is going to be a very interesting piece in this. I think the use of big sis, little sis rules and getting her into position is going to be very important.
Sabretooth now has Incinerate?
I think the players are just kind of discussing some things before the
Okay.
game. I'm not
Yeah.
taking much of it too seriously. I don't think there's much that can be happening. We'll take a moment to discuss the other team tactics cards. We already went over Jonathan the Unstoppable. Dossier and Are You Sure You Want to Remember are relatively stapled, as is Exceptional Healing, but there is an advanced R&D, which is um, very interesting. I think the play is to just drop power off of either Domino um, or maybe X-23 and give that to Honey Badger straight away for a turn one Jonathan to avoid getting early incinerated.
I think that's a very good idea if you're going to do it with it. You do want to do it on your back range, and you want to do it quickly. The few times that I have played with Honey Badger, it feels almost like a trap because you're sitting back with the character so that you can earn the power to take over a back point instead of running up and being with your sister, with the other players, doing the damage you want to be doing with her. So Advanced R&D is a good play if that's what he's planning to do with it.
Mm-hmm. On the other side, we've obviously went over the characters. Team tactics cards are fullback, patch up, to me, my X-Men, first class, and brace for impact. With the exception of first class, this is a very defensive lineup of team tactics cards on an already very defensive team. Rogue has a damage reduction by 1, Colossus has a damage reduction by 1, Can't Explode crits against Domino, Storm gives cover. I think this seems like a stick it out and smash and grab type of roster.
Which will be interesting to see against a team that is so focused on the kill, is to have a team that is so focused on staying alive. I am very curious to see how this works. Unfortunately, Storm's leadership does give cover, but all of Lou's characters want to be up and in your face, with the exception of Domino. So I don't know how often that cover will come into play.
Don't forget, there's the secondary part of that. There's the well, if you are within range 2 of a character and not holding an objective, you can pick yourself up and place within range 1. It basically acts as a pseudo charge. can be a way of getting Colossus into the fray, can be a way of getting Rogue up. Rogue has a charge, so it's going to be less important, but being able to use both in a turn can really extend the reach of a character.
Absolutely. And that's an interesting point. You did mention these are all very defensive cards, but if you do run your rogue or your storm up somewhere, you could, well, I guess just your storm, never mind, because it has to be the leader. You can use To Me My X-Men to get Colossus a free, an off-turn movement further up the board.
Yep, absolutely. There's a lot of strategic value to this leadership. While the cover aspect might not be in play, just like how you mentioned earlier, it can have it can still have its impact on the game. So Honey Badger
Absolutely.
and X-23 going right down the middle, Sabretooth similarly just off to the left there, and Logan on the far right, being met opposite Domino, Rogue in the middle, and Storm. Now, with Lou winning priority, I kind of want to just touch on the terrain a little bit. Lou does run Hulk in his roster, and I think Amakua chose this side of the board with that in mind. He's the only size 4 piece of terrain he put into his deployment zone so that Hulk wouldn't have that early ammunition nice and early on with a size 4 throw. Omakua is running Brace, but you still don't want to give that free piece of terrain over.
Now, I'll admit I wasn't paying attention to the train. Did they rotate it before they started playing?
Yeah, Almakua. It was originally the bus was on Lou's side. Almakua losing priority was able to switch it around, and this is the layout he chose.
Okay. I think that's smart for the exact reason you're saying. You don't want to give the Hulk the ammunition of the size 4 truck that can one shot a character. And if it's far back like this, there's a good chance Hulk would just never go for it. But if it's in Hulk's zone, you know he's going to throw it at some point, and that could take out a Domino pretty quickly, just that one hit.
Mm-hmm. And there's a double-edged sword to it. That's a size 4 truck, and most of his characters are size 2 and 3. That's a line of sight blocker. So if Lou is going to want to contest that point, he's going to have or attack the character who's contesting that point from Amakua. He's going to need to get right up close and personal.
It's also worth mentioning most of the X-Men have flight or wall crawling as opposed to the Weapon X characters, which would have to make a short movement to get over that, or a climb movement to get over that. So it
Absolutely,
doesn't hinder him as much as it does his opponent either.
absolutely right. All right, looks like all the pieces are on the board. Amakua has decided to leave Toad up on the top there to threaten the top disturbance. And again, with this extract, the obviously picking up every extract, and there's 4 on the board, so there's no sneaky I'm going to take the middle one and run away play. But there is always the question of how are you going to score the bonus victory point? If you have a character within range 2 at the end of during the cleanup phase, then you will score that bonus victory point. So, what is that condition for each of these players? It'll be interesting to
Well,
see how that plays out.
the nice thing is both teams do have quite a bit of movement. Like you've got Logan, whose attacks come with movements involved, so he can attack you and then move up. You've got the sisters, who, when one of them is attacked, the other one can move up. So you're kind of reliant on your opponent in those situations to place well, so that you can place off of them. But it does give you some options. And of course, with Storm's leadership, she has that one free hop per round that you can use to get somebody a little bit closer, so that the disturbance, hopefully, well, you could get closer to them and then pick up a disturbance, I guess, because you can't bunny hop when you hold a disturbance.
Correct. Yeah, the storm hop only happens if you are not holding an objective. But if you storm hop and then pick up the objective, you're within range 2. You don't take the damage, and then you are just in range for the bonus victory point.
Absolutely.
So Lou will have priority, which means he gets his pick of which of these disturbances he wants to go for. The wide ones are obviously contested, both with Domino and Toad in relatively safe positions to be able to claim theirs. So Lou gets to decide which one is going to be taken first.
Now, Toad's acid spit gives incinerate as well, does it not?
It does. It's auto
It's spit
incinerate.
acid.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of incineration going on in this game.
Well, yeah, we've got Toad. Both players have a Domino, and then we've also got Honey Badger. And then
Ooh.
yeah, so there's going to be a lot of defensive mitigation here.
Now, with Lou having priority, that means I heard you say it, Amukua.
I've
Amakua.
I don't know how it's actually
I,
pronounced. I'm just going with Amakua.
if you watch this, I truly apologize, Amakua. That means he picked 16 instead of 19. Do you think that was also to try and get away from the Hulk?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think that just from what I can remember of the X-Men roster, I don't think that there's anything there that can handle a Hulk well. Sorry, I'm struggling over all of my words there.
No doubt.
Uh,
I do think that he had a Scarlet Witch, which was his highest level character, but I don't know how well she holds up against a Hulk.
she can put some. She can also hand out incinerate. That would be great. Throw some terrain at him, but no inherent control. So it's just a matter of, can I roll enough dice at the Hulk? And if your answer is anywhere short of absolutely yes, then you're in for a world of hurt.
Fair enough.
We do have a small delay here. Amakua needed to take a very quick family break, so Dan, you and I can just speculate this entire first round. So I will put you through a couple of questions. So if you are Lou the Lunatic, who is your first activation and why?
Well, I've had significantly less practice with Weapon X than you have. So, I don't want to do Domino because I want to try and incinerate somebody, and she won't have the range yet. And I don't want to do. Well, he doesn't have. Okay. Sorry, I was checking if he had. Not all you've got. What's the other one? Anyways, moving on. I don't necessarily want to do Logan yet either. So I think it's between the middle three. Oh, I might go with Sabretooth, use A&D, give a power to Honey Badger, and move Sabretooth up and take one of the middle points. He's going to take the damage, but he's going to get his health back anyways, so that's fine. He's maybe not the tankiest of characters, but he's one of the tankier characters that's on his side of the board. So if he takes a hit, so be it. And then on my round two, I probably go with Honey Badger, jump up, grab a Jonathan token on the Flaming Portal, and then get away before I get incinerated. That might be my first two turns.
Okay. I think I would agree with Sabretooth, but I don't think I would do the advanced R&D because then you wouldn't be able to interact with the disturbance. So
Fair point.
I feel like your first activation has to be taking the top disturbance away. Now, in my opinion, Lou did not bring, what's the card? No matter the cost.
That's the card I was trying to think
Yeah,
of.
no matter the cost, allows you to spend health in lieu of power, which would allow him to use his spender, which is a range 3, place within 1, which he wouldn't be able to get to Toad. I think if Toad was range 2 away and picked up the disturbance, I don't think Apex could get there. So Apex is only going to be doing one thing this turn, and I think it's picking up a disturbance. So I think you take the top one away from Toad. You're absolutely right. I don't think Logan wants to go for the bottom disturbance because he's lining up alongside a Domino, as well as a Rogue, which could go pretty poorly for Logan. And you obviously want to wait for the Kinnies. The question is, who does play advanced R&D? And I feel like it's either going to be X-23 or Domino, because they don't require as much power to be efficient.
That is fair. Domino can, if she's lucky with her rapid fire, gain 4 power a turn, which is pretty good. So she can kind of be the battery of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wasn't sure if you'd want her to go for. I'm looking at it differently than you are. The top one. You don't want to say want her to go for the top one against Toad. And so I kind of wanted her to have power so she could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point is you do want to get Honey Badger with Jonathan out turn 1 and then keep moving forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you're okay with sacrificing maybe the middle point or dogpiling on the middle point and putting Jonathan down early to avoid getting incinerated as much as possible. And I think Amakua's first activation is going to be relatively easy. It's going to be almost the exact opposite side of the board of whoever Lu chooses first.
Yeah. Now, I know you like to go with X23, but you've been watching Lou play this more often. Does he usually go with X23 as the leader or with Logan?
He usually goes with X23, I believe.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. Lou is messaging me.
Okay. Bojaz is saying, let's see how accurate the predictions are. This is all just for fun. I don't know that we're putting a whole lot of time and thought into this, but I'm just sort of saying what I would do. And I think that's the play that I would make. Again, I've only got a couple of games in with Weapon X. But my understanding of them, I think that that would be the right play. I have played more with X23 and Honey Badger back when they were on X Force, and I really always struggled with putting Jonathan on the back because I did not take Vance R&D, so she always had to wait a turn, and then it was like she was playing catch up, which I never enjoyed for her. I do like the inclusion of advanced R&D. It is unfortunate that he doesn't have no matter the cost, because those cards would go very well together. You could have Logan give his power away to advanced R&D, take the 3 damage, still get his attack in, and heal up 2 of the 3 damage at the end of the turn. I would be very okay making that exchange, getting 1 point of damage for 1 point of victory.
I would agree. And no matter the cost, it has a really, really strong place in this roster. We've seen Logan set up early beams. We've seen Laura being able to activate her spender and get some extra distance on the board. Apex Predator, same thing. There's a lot of benefit to that card, and getting an early lead in a mission like this can help you spiral the game totally out of control. It's very unlikely that we're going to see a priority. It's almost impossible we're going to see a priority swing this early in a game. So you can kind of play with a little bit of reckless abandon early, and then lay down the hurt early in the next round.
Yeah.
So just a quick update. I apologize for the delay of this game. It looks like the family emergency is taking a little longer. Emergency is a strong word. So our opponent, Lou's opponent, Amakua, is going to be a couple more minutes. So you get to put up with our beautiful faces, and we're just going to be riffing. We're going to riff a little less about speculation about this game, maybe something a little bit more general. Lou's saying it's good that there's a bit of a delay. It allows him to read Domino's card a million times, because despite Domino being such a staple in this roster, it's never made its way into Lou's testing. So this is, I think, one of his first games of trying Domino.
That's interesting and a little bit funny to me that a game where there's definitely going to be Incinerate already on the board, you bring the auto Incinerate character.
I was thinking the same thing when then they both had Domino. It's like, oh, okay. But
just really want to make sure it sticks.
Exactly, fire for everybody. But the Domino placement of both players has been on the flanks. They're understanding that not everyone's going to run down the middle with this extract setup, so that way everyone truly will have Incinerate nice and early on.
Yeah. And I didn't see who placed first, but if the Domino from Amakua came in after the Logan, I think that's a great call, because I definitely want Logan to burn.
I think it went Apex, Storm, then Logan, then Domino. So Domino was placed in direct response to Logan's placement.
Good call, Amakua.
David says it's going to be like the weather forecast. Yep, we're making our predictions. It's not a precise science, but we can only make our predictions based on the data in front of us. The dice are a completely different story.
It's essentially a drunken science, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there's a stream idea.
Take a drink every time X happens.
Oh gosh, no. We if we're gonna do something like that, we would have to think about that very carefully because I don't want a hospital trip.
At least you're close to a hospital. I live in the middle of nowhere.
True, true. Man, Demons Downtown is gonna be. This is gonna be a really fun game. This is gonna be in the middle, nice and early, lots of smashing, and I'm a little bit surprised that Amakua didn't take Logan as well because of this mission setup. But it allows us to have almost 10 unique characters, with Domino being the only duplicate.
I agree that if I was in his position, I probably would have played Logan, but I'm excited to watch Colossus because I've not seen him in play very much. I want to see what he can do. It's too bad you don't have him with Wolverine so that he can throw him around, but so be it.
It does have to be base Wolverine, though. Fastball Special does specifically say Wolverine, unfortunately. With some of these Team Tactics cards, they have different wordings. They either refer to the character, like their name, or they refer to their alias. So, for example, there's a card called Fastball Special that requires Colossus and the Wolverine. Now, Logan is technically Logan the Wolverine, which means that his name is not the Wolverine. But if there's a card like the card is called Wolverines, it uses the name James Logan Howlett, which means that both versions can do it. So, uh, unfortunately for us, we don't get to see Fastball Special, and even more unfortunately, we don't get to see Colossus throw the new Logan around. Maybe not. Maybe
Now,
not. Unfortunately, because that would be gross.
it would be absolutely disgusting. It would make Logan even stronger than he already is. But it would also make Colossus better. And as I said, he's a relatively new model that we don't see very often. So do you think that they will do some changes to base cards like that with, say, the new MODOK that just came out not being able to use aim lackeys, or the new Wolverine not being able to use fastball special? Do you think those will be things that they change with the new card pack coming out later this year?
I don't know, and I'm not. I don't actually think I want them to change that. I think that they've said multiple times that these characters are inspired from snippets of time. So Logan the Wolverine is from I think it's from his pre. I'm not a big comic book buff. I'm going to preface that. But if I'm going to relate to anything, I'm relating to the movies. So I look at Logan the Wolverine and I think of X-Men Origins, where he's just kind of he's doing his thing. He's just started his rivalry with Sabretooth. So it's kind of like younger Logan versus the Wolverine that we currently have is the X-Men Logan. And I'm very okay with them being two separate entities and having access to two different cards. I think that they should change things. It would be nice if there was a little bit more flexibility, but I don't entirely think it's necessary. What do you
That's
think?
totally fair. I would argue that because you do require to play Colossus as well as Logan, that's now 8 points of your roster just to get one card online. And it would take a character in Colossus that isn't very good and just make him a little bit better. I would be totally okay with them changing it. If it was a Logan only card and anybody could throw him, I would not want to see that. But
Mm-hmm.
because it does require Colossus, I'd be okay. I'd like to see him get out more. As I said, the one game that I played, I did throw Wolverine and it felt great. So that would be very fun. As for the AIM Lackeys card, the leadership that MODOK is running is AIM. So it seems very odd that for MODOK, who is leading AIM, he doesn't get any AIM lackeys.
True, but we also haven't seen the team tactics cards that will be coming in his pack.
Absolutely. And they might change it in the cards that come with him. He might get that card with an updated ruling.
Yep.
I would love to see it.
I would also love to see it. I think there are some cards that we don't have very many duplicate characters, but there are some cards that would be like it would be nice, and then there are some cards that are like why is that not a thing? For example,
Yeah.
the AIM lackeys, or for example, the Weapon X program cannot be used with the new versions that came out with the Weapon X program kit.
Yeah.
Very
That's a
bizarre.
weird
It's
mix.
extremely bizarre. Now I understand why you can't use it on Apex Predator because he already has a throw. That would be ridiculous. but for the namesake, it makes less sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow, we have a
And Matt
very
Smith agrees
active
with you.
chat. We have a very active chat tonight. I love it. Matt says mutants win. Mutants always win. Uh, I think it's just you asking about your sound.
Yeah,
Uh, After the dice rolls last stream, I think disgusting is becoming the norm. It absolutely is. There's only two states of the dice. It's disgustingly awful or disgustingly amazing. There's no mid ground. If someone rolls 3 damage and you block 2, no one remembers that. Everyone remembers the 7 dice spike.
absolutely.
And then Matt says, "My favorite is the Weapon X program Team Tactics card." Yeah, yeah, I was just mentioning that, Matt. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I would love to see that one changed.
Yeah. David Angel made a good point where after Matt said mutants win, David's like, yeah, but they're all mutants. So
Abs-
literally mutants are going to win no matter what happens.
Absolutely are. Time to hedge your bets, and I would put all of my money on mutants.
Ooh, that's a
Now,
tough call. I'm going to go no mutants.
no mutants. Oof.
Oh, yes. We're taking all the bets, taking all the chances.
I thought it's very funny that Amakua brought Scarlet Witch and brought her card, which was no more mutants, which would have been delightful. A delightful inclusion. Well, you know what? Let's take this moment just while we're still hanging around. Let's look at Colossus. Like you mentioned, we don't see him too often. Let's pull up his card and just kind of go over so that people can kind of see it because he doesn't pop up too often.
Absolutely.
So he's a 4 threat, 6 health on his healthy side, moves small on a medium base. That's what loses me a little bit. Size 3, 4 threat, 4-3-3 defenses. Pretty box standard for his defenses. His movement's a little lackluster. Whatever.
As
Uh,
somebody who plays Criminal Syndicate, I'm pretty used to seeing small on a medium base. I get a lot of those characters where they don't get a whole lot of movement, but when they stand somewhere, they are standing there for the game. And I don't know if that's what Colossus wants to be doing. I think he wants to be moving and up in the fray a bit more. So it does hurt him a little bit more than some other characters.
yeah, I'd agree because one of his superpowers we're going to get to requires him to be uh, relatively in the thick of it. So we'll circle back to that in a second. Uh,
Sure.
Basic strike, range 2, 5 dice, gains damage, gains power, and then he has concussive force, which if he rolls a wild, the target character loses a power. Could be good, could be fantastic. It's nothing to write home about, but it is a little bit of a slap in the face because that's the effect that's added onto uh, Cyclops' beam. He also has that concussive blast rule.
There's going to be a time where that matters a whole lot. That you just like denied them the ability to do their big spender or their big superpower. But you're right. For the most part, it is just kind of a nice little bonus.
Mm-hmm. Spender is 3 dice, also range 2, which is kind of also coming back to the small range, the small movement that I was alluding to earlier. Range 2,
Yep.
7 dice, 7 power, 3 power cost. Automatic stun, very, very good. And then wild stagger. So being able to put stun and stagger on somebody is fantastic. Again, it is range 2 and it costs 3 power. But there are other things that he is going to want to spend that power on later. How would you rate this spender, Dan?
I think stun is underrated. I think that it can do really nasty things. The problem is it's not as sexy as stagger. When you stagger somebody, you see what it does to them from across the table. When you stun somebody, there's a lot of times where you just go, okay, so be it. And like as the person who is stunned, you're kind of frustrated, but it's harder to see. Stagger is very obvious. Incinerate is very obvious. Stun is one of those ones that kind of goes under the radar a little bit, but it really does hurt when it is done to a character that has maybe not the best action economy. Stagger on a wild is fantastic, and with 7 dice, there's a very good chance of you getting one wild. If you can stun and stagger somebody, you've basically taken them out of the game for a turn, and that feels wonderful.
Completely agree. It's a fantastic ability to have, especially on such a low cost. It's 3 power, and you only need to roll a wild, and then the stagger happens. We're gonna have to come back to the rest of his superpowers because we are ready to rock and roll. Amakua is back. We have been assigning our team tactics cards, so that will be the dossier and are you sure you want to remember? What normally happens, X23 gains Are You Sure You Want to Remember? And it looks like the dossier is being played by Apex Predator this game.
Now, I maybe have a sour taste in my mouth with that. The one time that I played the dossier, I put it on Sabretooth, and he never caught up to his opponent. Admittedly, I was playing against Web Warriors, so that might be a big chunk of it. I've seen it played on on Logan, and because he is so much more mobile, it is terrifying.
I completely agree. I've played the dossier with Apex before, and he doesn't get there nearly as quickly as Logan does. But ultimately, it tends not to matter because you're only really looking to use it for. You're only looking to get it so you can pick it up, and then as soon as you pick it up, doesn't matter who picks it up, you get the benefit, but only the person who played the card gets the rerolls. They obviously make it easier to claim the objective, but it's not overtly important.
Yeah. And admittedly, I did play that wrong as well, or I didn't see that aspect of it when I played it. I'd be very curious to play with Weapon X again. They are a fantastic team, and having seen you pilot them, it's given me some ideas. It looks
Well,
like Colossus is going to be holding the dossier,
mhm.
which is it makes sense. He is the tankiest character, but he is also going to be running up the center of the board, and he wants to be up close with people.
Yeah, I think that Colossus is actually the smart choice here. I think Colossus, he has a damage reduction. He can add dice to his physical defense, which is primarily what I Weapon X are using. So he has the ability to be able to tank most of it. But for our return viewers here, we know just how little that means when Logan's on the board. Logan can roll anybody off the table, and it just happens. And as Boja said earlier, disgusting. It can be absolutely disgusting. I feel like the choices were between Colossus and Storm. I think Storm is probably going to want to sit back behind that flaming portal, out of line of sight. But all right, we're into the game.
With a range 4 grenade bounce, I would have at least considered Domino because she does have the cover and she does want to hang back. But we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how Colossus's defenses hold up. Sabretooth moves up to the middle of the board. I have to pay attention to which side you're looking at. And grab the top token. He is not near anybody, so he will take a damage, but then he will just heal it back at the end of his turn, so he's not too concerned about it.
Healing factor is the primary reason the Weapon X love this mission. Just gonna check at chat here, Matt. Oh, we're talking about the team tactics cards again. Or Wong's Servant to the Sorcerer Supreme superpower not working with Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange. How true.
That's a good call.
Hashtag not my doctor. Ooh, now this is interesting.
So Domino is going to look like she's going to double move, grab the disturbance from the other side of the board. She does not have a healing factor, so she will just take that damage and it will sit with her. And that puts her right in the way of Logan. I don't know that I like this. I liked when he played Domino across from Logan, but I would have used her as a reactionary, not the aggressor in this situation.
Yeah, I was mentioning that was interesting. Obviously, Rogue wants to get right into the center and start punching things. I was expecting her to go for that point, just because, as you mentioned, she's within Logan range, but Rogue would be able to tank that a lot better than Domino would
Yeah,
be able to.
absolutely. Logan attacking Rogue is something I'd really like to see. I think that's a legitimate fight, especially if you've got Domino giving Logan the incinerate. But if it's going to be Logan against Domino, I think he's going to. There's definitely potential to get one shotted there, and that's going to be unfortunate.
X23.
X23 is moving up to the center of the board, taking one of the two disturbances. Now she has to be within 2 to not take damage. Is that correct, or is
Yep, as long as she's within range 2 of Sabretooth, she doesn't take damage. It looks like she took the damage anyway, so which I would be interested to check the range between the two because that is going to be the conditional for the extra victory point.
mm-hmm. I wish we could use the. Yeah, no, I wish we could use the rulers and check some things ourselves. Not that I would interfere with their game, not that I would tell them what they're doing, just out of my own curiosity.
Hmm. It's an interesting point. Like they can't see our hands either, so it would be cool if we could also use the tools and they couldn't see it, just for our verification.
Agreed. I'm happy that they cannot see our hands. The first time we did this, I was nervous they could, and that we were maybe giving away some of what we were thinking. So the fact that they can't see that we're here, we are just silent spectators. I think that's brilliant, and it makes me a lot less paranoid that I'm giving away strategies or what we're looking at.
Yeah, we
Lots
are
of
we are in no means to be backseat gamers here.
no. Colossus is moving up the field. It looks like he's going to try and get in position to grab that other disturbance, which will, of course, deal the damage to him because he will not be within range 2 of anybody.
He has been
But he's a tanky boy. He can probably handle that.
he has been trying to measure the range 2 to Domino again for the victory point trigger, but also to try and mitigate that damage. You don't want your bodyguard, the one holding the dossier, to take some unnecessary damage.
No, and that's for sure. There. Is he to me
I
my X-Menning?
Yes, he's to me my X-Menning Domino.
Interesting. That's a very early play, and it looks like it's only going to be the one character that gets it off. But if it can keep Colossus a little healthier and potentially give him an extra point at the end of the turn, I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's this card is very. I feel like it's underutilized. To me, my X-Men is a fantastic positional piece. Can be really, really powerful early on. So this move here serves two purposes. It keeps Colossus from taking that extra damage, but it also moves Domino out of Logan range. So now neither character are in direct risk this early on.
He just flipped over to me my X-Men. I wanted to read it.
Oh, here we can pull up crit. Yeah. Oh, you got your card. I was gonna say you could pull up Crit Wild.
I have my binder right here. Just give me 1 second.
Woot woot. Yeah, I think it was a pretty decent play. Neither player is wanting to contest that central point nice and early on, which is obviously extremely wise. That's going to be where most of the murder happens. And I think Lou might be a little bit upset that he did not bring no matter the cost here, because that is a potential that's a move Logan to set up a beam early on onto two targets. He might not be in range from move beam, so it might have had to been move set it up for the next turn. But it's sometimes when a target so juicy presents itself, you have to take the bait. So Domino is just going to move up a little bit. I think she's aiming to get within range 2 to create that trigger for the extra victory points. Oh, that's an extremely aggressive play by Domino. I don't think she can actually get on that dumpster there, though. No matter how it's... She might be able to. But that's...
It should be very close. I don't know that it would be 100% legal, but it'd be... She decides to hang back, which I think is probably the better play anyways.
Yep, I would agree. So then...
Nobody's going for that incineration token.
No, no one wants it. And this is it. Domino plays Advanced R&D to give Honey Badger an extra power. So that's going to be Jonathan.
Makes sense. And that's the battery character giving it to him, just like you had suggested. So not a bad first turn.
Now there's an interesting line of play. There's a very interesting line of play coming up. So we're all obviously expecting Honey Badger to Jonathan the back portal here. But Honey Badger has a weird window where she can double move, get close to Colossus, maybe not Domino as well, and then Jonathan the middle portal. I think Jonathan only requires an enemy to get within range 1 of it. So you could secure the center. Obviously, Jonathan would go back to your hand, but then it sets up a nice attack onto Colossus next round with Honey Badger's Ankle Biter.
Honey Badger has a medium range move. Do you think she could move up far enough that she could? Well, one second, because Jonathan, how far away can she put it? Place Jonathan token within one of this character, so she could move straight towards Colossus, drop a Jonathan on the back portal, and continue moving towards Colossus anyways. And then your Jonathan token is a little bit more safe and secure at that back point, while still setting up a nice attack on Colossus in the future.
So we're seeing...
Again, I really wish I could measure.
We're seeing a storm attack into X-23, 2 successes for 3 defensive successes with cover, which means that no damage is done, but a wild was rolled, so shock has been put onto X-23. She does not like shock.
No, this is a very wonky placed storm, and I believe that she can stand on top of that terrain. It's just something is happening there.
Yeah, she can. She's allowed to. The portal actually isn't level on the truck. I'm going to try and show it on stream here. So the portal doesn't actually hit flat, which means that she just kind of balances off of it. But the base would fit there. Technically, the terrain is a 2D plane, so as long as she is on the terrain, it is a legal placement. He's trying to play Jonathan now. Now, playing Jonathan further back is really, really smart, because Jonathan does require an enemy to get within range 1 of it to be able to make it go away.
That's true, but if he fails this and it doesn't land within 1 of him and within 1 of the portal, then that's a waste. So I'm hoping that he was pre-measuring this. It looks like it's good, but I would be nervous of trying that, and then you have a Jonathan sitting in the middle of nowhere doing absolutely nothing. Wasting a Jonathan card and an advanced R&D card.
What is going on with these tools? What kind of tools does he have? What?
Why you just change the color to the green ones? They're same tools.
No, they've got a motion effect.
So they do.
Dang. That's
interesting.
That's snazzy. All right, so he did do the first move. Yeah, he'd have plenty of move to get within range of Colossus here.
Absolutely. Do you want to be within range of Colossus? I think you do.
Well,
that's kind of the whole point of it.
You have priority. This is an interesting play. I don't know why.
That seems interesting when you've got a character like Storm who has a beam ability to set up 3 characters, none of which are gaining the point from the portal, that can all get hit with 1 attack.
It is
Storm
true.
has an Ice Blizzard, which is a beam 3, 4 dice, and it can give out the stun special condition. It's only 4 dice, but if you can hit 3 different people with it, that's really good.
That would require Storm to come out of her hole a little bit, which might not be the smartest choice, but you're right. It's set up a very interesting... it's set up a potentially dangerous, volatile scenario. I still think it's a little odd that Honey Badger did not go and park right next to Colossus.
I completely agree. I would be curious after the game to see what his line of thinking is. Like, he is playing the more aggressive team, and he's turtling.
He's not blocking any type of throw. Now, why is Toad going?
Also, why is Toad in the middle of a truck? Like, I don't know what it looks like on your screen, but he has disappeared in the back of this dumpster.
Yeah, he's gone. I guess the only reason I'm asking about Toad, I guess he's looking... He hasn't storm hopped yet, so I think he's looking to get stuck in with Rogue. So that answers why Toad is going. Oh, he's storm hopping now.
Like Toad is doing the storm hop.
Okay, now Luke is extra mad that he didn't bring no matter the cost. That's a 3-man beam waiting to... Well, I guess it could still happen.
It could happen. Not, yeah. Oh, this is very interesting on both of their parts.
Oh my lord!
And I
I
mean, obviously, he probably wouldn't have put Toad there had he left Honey Badger instead of Colossus. But if he had, then Toad would have Incinerate and Honey Badger right beside him, making him a very, very squishy target. And Toad's already a very squishy target.
I'm really excited for the next turn. This is gonna be a this is gonna be an absolute bloodbath. I am. Oh, yeah. He's not gonna be able to get in range this turn, but Lou has to know he's getting priority next turn. This might be the wrong way to go. Rogue does have a. Oh no, Rogue has to spend power to throw.
Well, if he does go this route, then his first attack he will get the rerolls on because he will not be within 3 of anybody else on his team.
Yeah.
But you're right, facing down a rogue is maybe not exactly where his Logan wants to be.
Yeah, he's just setting up. Yeah, Rogue can't get there. Now that the Storm Hop's been used, Rogue can't get there in one. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am so excited. This is either going to go This is either going to be spectacular or or disgusting, as Bojaz mentioned.
Now, we don't know what rogue is going to play, but what is your first turn next round with Lou? What's your play?
I'm going with Logan.
Yeah,
I'm going with Logan. Now, the trap I think here is going into Colossus, because Colossus is going to have enough power for a bodyguard anyway. So whoever you target is going to go into. So you want to attack Colossus because he has the dossier. You're getting full rerolls. You're going to want to do it. I don't think that there's a good place off of it, unless he decides he wants to go after Storm on the back point. It's definitely Logan. I'm definitely going with Logan first. He's just going to roll a lot of dice. If he generates 2 power off of this, it's ugh.
It now makes me that much sadder that he doesn't have his Honey Badger giving Colossus the effective Incinerate.
Yep. Completely agree.
Because, yeah, this is going to be potentially a very damaging turn.
Now, this is very interesting placement from Rogue. It looks like Rogue has decided to... She can also throw size 4, which could be extremely deadly later on. But I don't know, he might be playing a little too cagey around Logan. Okay, well, regardless, that looks like it's the first round done, and we've got scoring of 5-4. The only separating difference is Amakua claims the central portal. Both players are getting their bonus points from Paranoia. Domino being the trigger for X23, Colossus being the trigger for Domino. Jonathan over here, this is great Jonathan play. I get the feeling that unless the center of the board goes really, really poorly for Lou, I think that Jonathan's staying around for a while.
Yeah. As many rounds as there are in this game, Jonathan's going to be getting points. The only potential option is Toad running down here, but I don't think that's a good enough play to make it worth it, because that's 2 turns of Toad just to get rid of your 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like Logan's going to be going first. Looks like he's already setting up that. Well, he's measuring at least. If he does hit Colossus first, he will get the rerolls, as you mentioned, which is very nice for him. He does have to place himself within 1 after that, so he won't be able to set up a 3-person beam, whereas if he does go for Domino first, he would be able to set up a 3-person beam. But I think you just want to focus on the character with the dossier and the paranoia, the disturbance, more. I think that's just such a juicy target. Now, what is the range to?
He's measuring for cover.
Ah.
So it looks like he's actually targeting Domino first. I think he's identifying Domino as a character with the power, or with the best ability to generate power. So Luke can't explode the crit, and he can't reroll anything because of the skulls, but he's doing 3 damage. He would be doing 3 damage because cover would happen first, and then pierce would happen. But Domino is going to spend power for the critical. So
Domino,
Domino,
of course, having the ability to spend power to change skulls into criticals that they can then explode, same as Malekith has. It's a fantastic ability, and it can definitely swing games.
and Lou gets the exact amount of power he needs. 2 damage goes through, sets up the 4 for the beam, and so he places within range 1, and then he is about to beam all 3 of those targets.
Lou has to be very happy with how this turn is going. It's only the first part of round 2, but this is going to be phenomenal. There's a great chance he's going to daze Domino. Toad has 1 less dice that he can use. There's a decent chance of getting him, and he's going to get rerolls against Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
Every part of this is just fantastic.
So he's targeting Toad first. Yep, that's a dead Toad. That's 3. Jeez. Okay, well, not yet. He's blocking 2.
Blocking 2.
That is 6 with
Hitting
a pierce.
for 5.
That's 6 with a pierce. Yep, that's a dazed Toad.
Yeah, 8 damage with a pierce. There's no way.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Logan Show. Warlock Paladin in chat. I'm curious, what is this exactly? This is Marvel Crisis Protocol as played on Tabletop Simulator. We are currently watching 2 players, Lou the Lunatic and Amakua, currently fighting to see who can get the first, not first round bye, but the top cut bye in the next season of the TTS League. And right now we are watching Logan the Wolverine do a beam attack, which is going to hit all 3 of these. He's already dazed Toad. And now it looks like we're going to be going into Colossus, who has spent power to increase the number of defense dice he rolls. Oh my. Okay, that's still 3 blocks.
He does get another pierce, and he will still have his rerolls. So we got 6 damage going in so far. Just going to be 6. And he's blocking 3.
He does get to reroll again. So he rerolls once from the dossier, and then he gets to reroll again from his own ability.
Right.
But it looks like that part was missed, which is okay. And Colossus is blocking 4 with cover, which is pretty fantastic. And then
so 3 damage did go through, which is not bad.
Nope, not bad at all.
It is unfortunate that he did miss the second reroll, but so be it. He only needs to do 2 damage to daze Domino. Will give up the priority, but absolutely worth it to take 2 characters out for an entire round. Now, because he's hitting Domino last, Domino is the one that he has to place for when he has done this attack, correct?
Correct. But I think Amakua is currently weighing up the options of playing Big Brother, which is basically a bodyguard ability. So that's going to allow Logan. That would allow Logan to attack him again with all of those rerolls, or risk Domino going down. And this is a very difficult decision. Boja says Logan just doing Logan things. Yeah. Warlock Paladin. Whose soul do I have to sell to get a hold of this simulator? You don't have to worry about that. The souls have already been sold. This is a free modifier, mod that you can download for Tabletop Simulator.
Is it free? I thought it was $20.
Well, the game is $20, but the mod is free.
Oh, I see. Tabletop Simulator is $20. The mod is free. My apologies. I knew I spent something to play this game. But that is still absolutely pennies compared to buying all this stuff in physical form.
Correct. Actually, Tabletop Simulator is currently on at least the Canadian Steam, is $10.99.
There you go.
So if you don't have it, I would highly recommend it. I'm not going to tell you to get it.
Now is the time. I will. Get it. It's worth it. It's worth your money. You could play seriously 2 games of this, and that's worth your $10. Whereas if you try to play this in real life, the starter set alone is $120, depending on where you buy it from. So you're getting a lot of value. You get every single model in the game for that $10.
Now,
Mr. Sheck, Logan is kind of good, I'm hearing. Yeah, he's all right.
Okay, so it looks like Colossus did bodyguard this.
Ooh, not really.
There was only one There was only one set of rerolls, so I think that Lou may have forgotten that he is holding the dossier
Yeah, either the dossier or the range, but he is
because
definitely missing something.
he should be able to reroll 5 of those dice. But either way, Colossus goes down to a single health point left, keeping Domino alive. But that's a rather fantastic turn from Logan
Absolutely.
because that
Do you think he feels good about that? That he kept his Domino alive, but now that his Colossus is basically dead, or would you
um
just sacrifice the Domino to keep your Colossus a little more healthy?
I don't know. That was it's a very difficult decision, and I don't know what the correct answer was. You brought Colossus to be the bodyguard, so the fact that he was able to bodyguard it is obviously very important.
Yeah.
Um, it was a very, very hard decision, but I think he may have made the right choice. So I think Domino, if it was highlighted correctly, Domino is going to be shooting into Logan here.
He did also bring patch up, so he could heal his Colossus. And as we said, Domino can gain quite a bit of power, and she's in a good spot for this. That could negate a lot of the damage that he did with Logan.
Yep.
She does trigger her rapid fire,
and she's
assuming that's the attack that she did.
Oh, that was the grenade bounce.
Ooh, okay, so he is incinerated.
Mm-hmm. Squeaks a damage through as well. Bojaz, not only do you get MCP, but almost every board game is available as a free Steam Workshop mod in some form or another. Absolutely right. Tabletop Simulator is a great resource if you love playing tabletop games, but don't have the time to be able to go out and play said tabletop games, or even the funds to buy every single one in the world. It's a fantastic resource to be able to play any of these games.
So it looks like Amakua is doing the automatic pistols. He did get the trigger on the first attack, triggering the second attack, but unfortunately didn't do any damage with either attack, it appears. He does still gain all the power from that, and it looks like he is in fact patching up Colossus, bringing him from only 1 life left all the way down to only 1 damage. That's got to feel good for your tank.
Absolutely does feel good for the tank. It's making Lou probably rue those missed rerolls a little bit more, but it feels really, really good for Amakua, proving that I think he made the correct choice with bodyguarding onto himself as opposed to taking it on Domino.
Absolutely. Knowing that he had patch up, I agree that the bodyguard was 100% the right play.
Warlock Paladin, I feel the urge. You don't need to feel the urge. You can satiate your hunger for $10.99 on Steam. Canadian again. Canadian.
Again, might even be less if you're in the States.
Okay, I missed the ping there.
He measured from Domino.
This looks like a grenade bounce.
For 3 hits into 1 defense.
This could be going into Colossus.
I believe that is what's happening. I think Colossus is getting incinerated.
Colossus is getting incinerated and taking 3 damage, or taking 1 damage. Sorry. Oh, he took 2. Yeah. Why is he taking 2? Okay. I think we just saw the exact same roll. Oh no.
Lou didn't do any damage, so the defensive roll is a little unnecessary, but... And if that was the automatic pistols, it did not trigger the rapid fire.
It didn't trigger anything.
No.
It triggered sadness.
Sadness is on the stack, and sadness resolves.
Okay, so both dominoes have now activated. Priority is going to be going to Amakua unless Rogue or Colossus have anything to say about that. No disrespect to Storm, but I don't think she's going to want to step too far out of her comfort zone. She might throw another shock and then call it a day.
It would be really nice if she was in a position where she could use her own bounce and then double tap that beam into 3 separate characters. Again, it's only 4 dice, but when you can roll that many dice in a turn, you're gonna get lucky once in a while.
Yep, I agree. She absolutely can if she wants to. She just needs to set up that bounce, which means that she would need to get Rogue into a position um, and stay there to be able to set it up. Because I believe that the hop has to happen on your activation.
I believe that is accurate as well.
Yeah, you can hop on your activation. Tyler says, stoked to see Colossus. We are too. We are too. We don't get to see him too often. He's already proven his worth. He's eaten a patch up. He's eaten a lot of damage from Logan, and he's prevented Domino from dazing. So he's earning his keep right now.
Now, Storm was measuring out at range 4,
Mhm.
which will be her Lightning Bolt to deal out shock. I don't know which of the ones she's targeting. I think it was Honey Badger.
Honey Badger only has 2 defense, so it probably wasn't her. And the crit was exploded. I think that just went into X23 again.
Okay.
And I think we're just doing the same thing. And Storm does 1. Cover will block the other one if they remember cover, because she is behind the dumpster. Oh, it was going into Logan. My apologies.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
She double tapped Logan. She was trying to apply the shock, which is very smart. If you can get
The
shock,
shock does require a wild trigger, which I do not believe that she got.
sadly didn't, but the intent of the play was there.
Yeah.
Warlock Paladin. I used to have a Steam account. The computer I had it on broke down, and I was never able to recover the account. Oof. Fortunately, lost very little money. Well, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Regardless of how much money was lost or how much of the inventory was lost, that's still a heartbreaking story, and I'm sorry. I don't know how that would even work. Like, how would you go? But like, you obviously would have like the logins, or at least the email. I guess does Steam have an account recovery option?
I would have to assume it has some kind of a I forgot my account. The only problem would be if you don't remember what email you had it set to, then you wouldn't know where to send it back to.
That's fair. That could be a problem. All right. So now,
All right, Sabretooth is moving up. He's looking to potentially get on the point. He's not going to land on that dumpster. And he's going to try and get within range 2 of Colossus. Don't know that he's going to be able to. It looks like he is just out. Dumpster is giving him some problems. I don't know that he's gonna be able to land this.
if he changes the movement tool like a little bit to the left, he should be able to. But there is a little bit of overlap with that dumpster. I guess we'll kind of have to see how the players decide they want to deal with it.
Sometimes the terrain can just absolutely get in the way. Not like in a size 4 way, but just in that like just by centimeters. You can just not quite get where you need to go, and it can really hamper your ability to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we're seeing now, where maybe he would have had the range if it was completely clear, but right here, right now, I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
Now, sadly, the option here is even if he is able to get within range, and do the attack, he'll leave himself on the point unless he generates enough power to use his leap to get off of the point. He's effectively committing Sabretooth to being incinerated.
Now, is that the worst thing? Now, I recognize that I'm a criminals player. I like my objective tokens. I like my victory points. I'm not used to playing where you just want to kill your opponent. But is it the worst thing to have him be incinerated if it does give him the point? Toad is dazed, so he's not contesting this. So it's up for the grabs. Up for the grabs? That's English.
It forces Amakua to have to come and react to it, but being incinerated with Storm, Domino, and Rogue, who all have easy access to energy attacks, and his energy defense is his lowest at 3, so it would lower it to 2. It could be a bit of a problem. It could be. But it looks like he's taking a second action to just move on to the point anyway, keeping himself in close proximity to trigger the bonus victory point from Paranoia.
I mean, Storm has already gone, but if he'd stayed where he was, that would have been a 4-point beam attack like that. Oh, even though I know it's not good, it's just so tempting. If you can hit almost their entire team with one attack. Ooh. So Sabretooth has finished his turn. He is going to be incinerated next turn.
Mhm.
It does happen next turn, right? It doesn't happen at the yeah.
It happens in the power phase, yeah.
Power phase, okay.
Yeah. So you can't you can't dodge it with death. So Toad is going to wake up and be on fire.
And Toad is squishier on his secondary side, so that will not bode well for him.
Now, I hope that the range 2 was measured off of Colossus, because it would be very unfortunate if Sabretooth wasn't able to attack him on his turn, but decided to move very nicely into range for Colossus to then punch Sabretooth.
It doesn't look to me like he would be in range 2 at this point, but you're absolutely right. If he'd moved himself in position just to get hit twice, that would be very sad for Sabretooth.
And this is a very awkward decision right now that Amakua has. He has Rogue, who has Charge online. He has Colossus,
who can bunny hop into range. Mm-hmm. But does he want... Oh, he's going to go for Wolverine, it looks like. It's going to be Colossus on Wolverine.
Yeah, he's incinerated. Seems like a good time to do it. But giving him power is...
Giving him a lot more power. Like I don't see Colossus dazing Wolverine, so you're just giving him power.
Woof.
Well, okay. As I said that, 5 damage with the critical exploding, going to be a 6th hit. That's pretty phenomenal. And we're not blocking any of it. He's going to take all of that damage. And that will, in fact, daze him. I am eating my words much faster than I anticipated.
Giving you the stink eye. You did this. You did this.
That was all me.
That was 100% you. Oh, yeah, he won't daze him.
You are welcome.
He won't daze him. Punch. And
now he has another attack to do.
Well, and again, he does still have the bounce, but you don't want to bounce into the middle right now for a couple of reasons. Honey Badger and X-23.
You're absolutely right. It does. Oh, it looked like he was measuring away.
He currently is. So he's trying to see just how far Honey Badger can reach, because he doesn't want Honey Badger to come on over, add that extra layer of Incinerate onto Colossus. So Colossus is currently on defensive duty.
Is there an argument to... Because he's still going to be in range of Wolverine next turn, who's going to have a lot of power. Should he have moved back, bunny hopped off Storm, held the back point so Storm doesn't have to, and then he's got a truck in the way so that you can't see him. So he's got line of sight cover, he's got actual cover from Storm's leadership, and he's holding a point. Is it better to be just far away, even with Logan going to reactivate next turn?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm very curious with his positioning, because you're right. Logan can kind of wake up and do what he wants, but Amakua is going to have priority. So if he wanted to, he could do double spender into Logan, maybe try and get rid of him, at least put a stagger onto him. But with the rest of the board state, I don't think that that's an ideal place to spend your first activation. Kind of all depends on what Rogue wants to do.
Rogue is another one who I keep getting told is fantastic, but I just haven't played with her very much, so I'm also curious to see what she does in this game. Colossus has been impressing me, but I don't know how much of that is him being good or him just spiking.
See, now this is an interesting move.
I will say, just to promote for a second if I can, we do have a pretty active chat going on right now. If ever you guys want to go ahead and give us a like while we're live, it does help the algorithm, so we will get seen by more people. And if you're here for this long, you're probably enjoying it, so feel free. And if you haven't subscribed, I know Warlock Paladin is looking into selling his soul for this game. Feel free to subscribe. We do tend to try to do these every week or so, so you'll get notifications when the next one goes live.
Woof. Now, while our viewers might be enjoying the stream, X23 did not enjoy her turn. She moved up, put a single round of attacks, 4 dice because she shocked into Storm, did nothing, and now is in the middle of Narnia.
Oof.
Now, last turn, Amakua did a very, very good job of making sure that Rogue was placed within range 2 of Storm. Not within range 2 right now, but there is a Storm Hop available. This could be um, this could be a bait because Honey Badger has not gone yet, so she could move off of Little Sis.
That's absolutely possible. Even if it being the bait, I still feel like taking the leader out is not a bad play, and Rogue is definitely strong enough to put some hurt into Laura. And because Laura's already gone, she's not going to be healing this turn.
Mm-hmm.
That said, everybody else has already gone on Akuma's turn, so he can't do any more damage to her now, but he will have priority next turn, although I'm pretty sure he wants to activate Colossus first next turn.
It's definitely the way that everything seems to be panning out seems to look like we're going with Colossus first. So Rogue looks like she's going into X23. X23 is spending a memory token and is blocking 3. Okay, Rogue's first attack comes to naught. We'll see what her second action is here. Now, X23 gets a small move off of this. It is also worth noting that it is an advance, I believe. Oh, the card is missing. Make sure you want to remember it's a small advance, which is not a climb. So he would not be able to climb over that bus. So Rogue's positioning here is actually really, really good.
It's nice because with the Weapon X ability, she does have the ability to move afterwards because she blocked all the damage, but also because she blocked all the damage, Honey Badger does not get her ability to move. She does need to take damage to trigger her Little Sis, Big Sis ability.
Does indeed. So the second attack comes through. 4 off of Rogue, 2 off of X23. So that's going to be 2 damage onto X23. Now that... Ooh, actually, we need to double check. We need to see if Honey Badger is actually within range 3 of X23 here. Don't know if they are.
It's a May ability. He might not want to do it even if he is in range, but I honestly don't know why you wouldn't. Honey Badger's too far away from everybody to be of any use, and she cannot hold a point, so...
Ooh.
Oh, it looks like Rogue is going to throw a truck at X23.
Yeah.
That's going to be 5 incoming damage. He doesn't have to roll any dice for that. It's just going to happen.
X23 does not have the power necessary to use exceptional healing, so if this does... This is damage. He's got to roll well here.
Yep.
So 5 incoming damage. And that is 5 damage taken. That is an X23 daze.
That is a daze. Ooh. For the quote-unquote defensive team, they are putting a lot of hurt into Weapon X.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had a very big roll from Colossus that one turn, and then a very big bus getting thrown. Well, Paladin, I will have to check in on your channel sometime. Yeah, absolutely. We've got obviously Lovable Misfits. We're doing the streaming. Dan is the owner of the channel Monguli Show. He puts out a lot of different content as well. So mostly Marvel related, right, Dan?
Absolutely, mostly Marvel related. It is heavily focused on the cell phone game Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Snap. But I also do movie reviews, and I've talked about a couple of comic books here and there. It's just starting up a channel. It's just more fun, but I keep it nerdy.
Keeping it nerdy. Now that's a name of a series. So the last activation to go for Lou is going to be Honey Badger. There's not a whole lot that she can do to influence the board in terms of victory points, but she does have... she can create a really nice threat range. She'll have the power next turn for her own bodyguard, so it's just a matter of where she wants to go and who she wants to annoy. I know where I would go. Where would you put her?
So there's two options that can put her within range one of two different characters. I think I prefer the one that she's going for, although she didn't do it. Did she? Did she seriously hold back and not go her full range? Because I don't know if she's within one of either of them, let alone both of them. Sorry, the other one would have been Toad and Domino. Getting within range one of both of them, as you said, Toad's going to be incinerated. That makes him a very easy target. I just don't know how relevant he is to the game state. Whereas if you can give Storm the Incinerate and the Honey Badger the Ankle Biter, that's fantastic. Anytime you can do more damage to Rogue, I like, but it looks like he's stopped short. I don't have the measurement tools, but I don't know that he's within one of them.
I'm not entirely sure. He's rolling 4 dice, so this is going into Rogue. Interesting
Uh,
choice.
and Rogue seems to have blocked all of that, so no damage getting through. Honey Badger's Ankle Biter, it's worth noticing, doesn't work for herself. She only gives that ability to other characters, so you do get all of your defensive rolls against Honey Badger.
So there is a
Ooh,
second
now that's
attack.
a good roll.
There is a second attack going here, so that was a trigger of Little Sis, so that wasn't actually a move there.
Okay.
So my my thought would have been more going down in between Domino and Rogue. That way you put yourself within range 2 of Colossus. So our expected first activation with Colossus into Logan can be too dangerous to ignore it onto Honey Badger instead.
Now, do you think he could have moved from where he was to get within one of Rogue?
Sorry, Honey Badger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Honey Badger could have done the Little Sis and ended up maybe over here, maybe used another move to end right in the middle of them.
Fair enough.
It's a moot point. Bojaz, throwing vehicles is easily the coolest part of this game. It absolutely is, because when you get to throw something at someone and you remove it from the board, it's gone, and then your opponent just has to block a truck coming at them. I agree. I totally agree. I can't articulate it better than you've put it.
Absolutely. I Throwing vehicles is more effective. I love throwing characters though because of the displacement. So you can kind of put their character somewhere you want them as opposed to where they want them to be. It does deal damage to potentially two characters, and it just always feels good. There's never been a time where I've thrown a character and felt bad about it.
So that was the end of round 2. Same score as round 1, 5-4. Amakua going up to 10-8. So Lunatic holds both of the central and the left point, but only has one of the disturbances, getting the proc off of Domino. And then Amakua is holding 3 of the disturbances, plus the bonus point for 4, plus the back point for 5. And Amakua now has priority. So now that we see the current board state, where do you go first, Dan?
Amakua gets to go first. Colossus into Wolverine or Colossus running away was definitely the right call last time. I think they just did the check and found out that correct. Honey Badger was not in range of within one of either of them, which is really unfortunate. Rogue, though, is in a good position with X-23 directly in front of her. I don't know that that's the right play, but it's more tempting than I thought it was going to be. What are we checking here? I think I still go with Colossus. He's still got the incinerator. He's still got the dossier. I think Wolverine has enough power now that it doesn't really matter if he gets more. He's already strong enough to do whatever attacks he wants to do. So maybe I try and do some damage into him. But he does have his healing factor, so he will heal 2 of whatever damage you put into him. So that's always discouraging.
Logan has to go down real quick. There's multiple beam angles here. Logan's turn is going to be extremely powerful, and exceptional healing is currently online. So that means that Amakua has to do two huge rolls. Two huge rolls.
But that's a good point. Was it not online when he dazed Wolverine with 6 dice? Did we both?
He had
Did all four of us miss that?
nope. Only had 2 power. Exceptional healing costs 3 to play.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Logan's got a lot of tasty stuff that he can do right here. He's got 7 power currently, which is enough for a throw place into beam. So he might not fully go for Colossus, but like there's a huge swing that can happen here. So I think that Amakua has identified that and is looking to put as much damage down on him as possible. I don't know what he's measuring range 4 for.
Yeah, I was a little curious on that myself. Wolverine's attack is a beam 3, is it not?
It is, yeah.
It is.
He might have been measuring Domino. I don't know why. Maybe moving Domino out and then throwing Incinerate back on him, which of all of the options is probably the weakest.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I like the Domino play. Even though it would give Incinerate to Logan, it just allows Logan to go before that really matters.
Yeah, Amaku is taking his time to assess his options and figure out what he thinks is going to be the better choice. And again, I can't help but point out that if Honey Badger had come down a little bit further, like between Domino, within range 2 of Colossus, he could potentially protect from the double spender, which it looks like Amakua is going for. He gets the stagger.
Nice. 4 hits with 2 blocks currently. 2 blocks total. So 2 are going through, and he's going to get staggered, and he's going to get stunned.
Well, he can't be stunned. He's got immunity, but the stagger is huge. But he's not dying this turn.
No, he's not dying, but only doing 1 attack will hamper what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now Colossus should have less power than he currently does.
Oh no, we might if Lou remembers the rule, we might see a super unique interaction here. Oh no, never mind. Apex Predator played the dossier. Never mind. I got super excited. So there's a very unique rules interaction with the dossier. The dossier on the card says which part of it? Right. At the start of this character's activation, if there is an enemy character holding the dossier token within range 2 of this character's first action must be an attack action targeting that character if able.
Oh, okay.
Now,
so that would get around the stagger.
There's a post on the forums that argues that would get around stagger. Now, stagger has to be shaken on your first action, which means that when your second action comes up, you don't have to do it. So you could technically get around stagger. It is a moot point here, though, because Logan did not play the dossier. But it's a very cool interaction.
That would be cool to actually see live. I've heard of it. It's been theory crafted, but to actually see it happen would be fantastic.
So he did his spender, put the stagger onto Logan, and is now looking to get out of dodge, I think.
He's got the power. Is it worth it to do the spender again? Even though he can't get more stagger, he can't give him stun, just to roll 7 more dice at Wolverine?
I think it's only worth it to burn exceptional healing. If you can burn exceptional healing now, I think that's a good play. But I'm not entirely sure. And he's trying to stay out of range 3 of Sabretooth, because Sabretooth does have his spender, which is range 3, and has a place. Oh, we're so silly, Dan.
What?
Do you remember earlier when I was saying that we were forgetting all of the rerolls from Dossier?
Yep.
It's because Logan didn't play it, Apex played it. Literally answered I am so hardwired in putting the dossier on Logan that I never even considered that another character played it. Oh,
That's absolutely fair. And every time I play against you, that's exactly what happens. So that makes sense that we missed it. And I'm glad to see that they didn't.
so Colossus moved over, threw the dumpster at Logan, did no damage. That is Colossus done. Now here's an interesting point. That's exactly what I was expecting to happen. Logan, he might be staggered, but he can still hit 3 of them with his beam, and he can not hit his own characters.
That is still a very, very strong attack, especially with one of them having Incinerate. It's truly unfortunate that Honey Badger isn't in range. I know I'm harping on that, but that would have made this beam attack so much stronger.
Oh, absolutely. I think Honey Badger's last activation, regardless if she ended up within range 1 of both of them or if it had gone south like I had suggested, it's a missed opportunity either way because it would have
Yeah.
enabled something more to happen.
If
Uh,
he does manage to attack, if he attacks Storm last and manages to daze her, he could end up on the point, which would help him catch up some of the points that he's below right at the moment.
mhm. So it looks like they're resolving the attack onto Rogue first.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
4 hits pretty good, especially when one of them is a Pierce.
yeah, and
He is blocking 2. He will have cover for a 3, but then we'll go back down to 2.
yeah, and then damage reduction by 1.
So only 1 is going to get through, unfortunately.
That's what Rogue's for.
Yeah.
So
You're just
then,
going to ping her to death.
yep. So then, probably going into Domino here. Domino does not benefit from cover because you are within range 2.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably going to be. Ooh, hold on.
Or
Lou should not have exploded that one critical. Luckily, it was a blank, so there's nothing extra to it. The Pierce will cancel that out, and that was into Storm.
I think that was into Storm because it was only 2 dice that he rolled, and then he exploded the crit for the third. Storm gets bleed, and now
okay.
he should do the attack into.
Yeah, now he's going into Domino.
Domino.
Interesting. Okay.
I would have gone for the point. I don't know. Like, if I had a secondary attack, I could see doing this and then potentially hitting Colossus afterwards. But being that this is the end of Logan's turn, I would have gone for the point myself. But
I might be mistaken, but I think he might be very, very confident that Domino is going to go down, so he wants to be placed near there to pick up the disturbance.
That's fair.
Because he would be able
So
to
he's
place.
taking 1 point for a different one. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. And he can not take the damage from the disturbance with the correct placement. Ooh, not exploding crits here is very unfortunate. He is rolling the crits. Hopefully that gets caught.
It should only be 3 hits. It looks like his opponent is pointing it out, or at least looking at what he did.
So they did explode there, so that means it would have only been 3 with a pierce, which would have been.
3 with a pierce is still enough.
Wait, what? Oh, it got bodyguarded.
Ooh.
Okay. It got bodyguarded.
I don't know if I like that. I might have just let Domino go at that point, but okay.
So the dossier has been dropped. There's no way for Logan to save the damage. To save the damage from picking up the disturbance if he decides to go that route. Interesting.
He's only got 2 damage, though. He's going to heal both the 2 damage he's got up. So if he only has 1 damage at the end of this, that's still coming out ahead of where he is currently.
I completely agree. Okay. Why is he putting them...
I think he's throwing the dossier further over so Sabretooth can pick it up. Does Sabretooth gain an additional bonus, or is it just when Sabretooth attacks the person holding the dossier that he gets a bonus?
The person who played the card gets the rerolls if they... the person who played the card gets the rerolls if they attack the person holding it. Any Weapon X character gets +2 attack dice and long movement if they hold it. This positioning is really weird to me. Now Logan... Why wouldn't he just pick up the dossier?
I'm not entirely sure. It also looks like he picked up the disturbance without taking damage.
That might be a missed window, but I, ultimately, I think that I'm with you here. I think the bodyguard play was a little odd.
Yeah, I would have kept Colossus alive myself, but I mean Colossus had already gone this turn, so that does mean that he will get to activate Domino if that's what he's hoping for.
Hmm.
But either way, he was going to drop a disturbance, so that doesn't matter for points. And now he just drops the dossier as well. I didn't love that. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting to happen. Toad is picking up the dossier, and I think he's just going to run the heck away.
Yeah.
Now, Toad should also be incinerated. He currently is not, but Toad should absolutely be incinerated right now.
Toad is running towards Wolverine because he has not learned his lesson about how deadly he is. But I'm sure he's just going to keep going. Or is he going to try and give Wolverine Incinerate?
I think he's going to give Wolverine Incinerate and then look to double tap with Domino. But again, the ordering here is very odd because now Domino is just in a position to be attacked by X-23.
I have a feeling X-23 is going to worry about Rogue and Storm. I don't know that X-23 cares about Domino, but I could be wrong.
Well, Domino is currently holding a disturbance. She's worth the time.
That's fair.
Okay. Two successes into two successes. Yep, literally just an Incinerate from the spender, and then he's probably going to spend 2 power to hop. And he's going over there. So the only reason that I would mention going with Laura Kinney into Domino is because she's got 2 health remaining. There's a frenzy trigger to be had. So a frenzy trigger would allow her to go off of Domino into Toad as well. But we could just be doing the same thing with. It looks like we're just going to do the exact same thing with Sabretooth. So
It looks like Sabretooth might be like he did measure Toad for a second there. If he can get in range, he might try and just hunt him down for the dossier.
yeah, so Sabretooth is going to spend 3 to do his spender, which allows him to place within 1 of Domino. So killing Domino here isn't the important part. Don't worry, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's
Nope. But the important part here is he is going to place within range 1, which ideally gets him within range 2. Yep.
Looks like it does.
And now he gets to do a 5 dice builder into. Now Toad should be incinerated here. This is worth mentioning. Toad should be incinerated here, but Sabretooth also will get to reroll everything against Toad.
Oh, and he needs it.
Yep.
That's unfortunate. Thankfully, they are not skulls. They are re-rollable, and he does remember that that's possible. But
skulls are re-rollable with dossier.
Oh, are they? Okay, fantastic.
So that's 4 with a pierce. So that should be a dead Toad.
Yeah, Toad only having 3 life on his wounded side makes him extremely squishy.
Even with cover wouldn't matter because the only thing to modify would be a skull, which can't happen. So he only blocked. Yeah, that's a dead Toad. He should have only been rolling 2 dice as well. I'll get off of that now.
Now that he's literally dead and doesn't.
Now that he's literally dead and it didn't matter. So that means that Apex should.
He hasn't taken any damage, and nobody's moving him off the board anytime soon. Are they just discussing where the dossier is going to go?
I don't know what they're discussing. I think he's looking at fullback. I think he's considering playing fullback so that he gets to move before dying, so that Sabretooth can't just immediately pick up the dossier. Because fullback happens before damage is done.
Yeah. So now, he's putting a lot of time and resources into protecting this dossier. Do you think that that's a bit of a trap for him, or do you think that's actually the right play to make sure that Sabretooth doesn't get more aggressive?
I think it's the right play. I think it's the right play because now Lou has to make the conscious choice of is he going to go for the dossier or is he going to go for the rest of the board. Now he's got Logan and Sabretooth that can go and do that. but it's a conscious decision to move away from the rest of the action to get there.
Fair
But
enough.
but Amakua is now down a character, and I think we'll still have priority this round. Bizarrely, Amakua went. Yeah, he went first. He should have priority. Sorry, I'm drunk.
And if you're not, you should be.
Ha ha ha! It's
As
five.
predicted, this
It's
Jonathan token is just scoring him points the entire game. Nobody's anywhere close to getting rid of it.
yeah.
So that R&D play absolutely making up for its value.
Without that, it would be 2 points. 2 points to the worst. It would be 10-6. So, Jonathan, Jonathan doing work,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm happy about. We get to see Colossus. Colossus has earned his stay. We get to see Jonathan. I think this has been the most efficient Jonathan game I've ever seen. Because
Yeah,
because
the fact that he's able to drop him and then move and still like his Honey Badger theoretically has been in the game the entire time. Realistically, hasn't really done a whole lot. But at least she's up in the action. She's around everything. She's not always feeling like she's playing catch up.
Now, Sabretooth, it is still currently Sabretooth's turn. He has 3 power. He has, if he wants to, he could pounce into Domino. Now, Domino, the brace is still a thing. Yep, so he's spending his 3
That's
powers.
exactly what's happening.
Yeah, you're going to pounce into Domino. Let's see if Domino decides she wants to block or if she's going to use brace.
Looking like she's using brace.
Yep.
Yeah. Brace is flipped over. She will take no damage from that for 1 power. Just a fantastic card, especially if you're laying into somebody who you know has got pounce, you know they've got a lot of throws. And that will take the last of Sabretooth's power so that he is kind of starting from scratch next turn.
Yes, he is. Now, okay. 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 So Domino is going to go into Logan.
Yeah. Logan's rolling too many dice.
Logan is rolling too many dice.
Logan's incinerated. That should get rid of 1 of his dice. Nobody has caught it yet. Hopefully Lou does.
Yeah, I think he just caught it. Oh no, he just caught the fact that crits don't explode. He did not catch.
Oh, he's rolling too many dice.
Yeah.
So that should be a start over. He should just re-roll everything. But again, he is re-rolling with too many dice.
He's remembering now. He's remembering now.
Is he?
Yeah, he just rolled 3.
Right. I have my colors backed up. I apologize. So that's unfortunate. That's a lot of nothing.
Yep, and that was the first action, I think. So now it should be.
That was the first action.
So now we're doing the second action, which is a rapid fire.
And it looks like he did get the rapid fire, but
Yep.
nothing else.
Well, he's got a crit that he can explode with a power.
Sure.
So he's getting 2, just the 2, blocking 1. So 1 damage onto Logan. Now, there's a very interesting choice about to happen here. Is if Domino does spike here and do 2 damage, will Logan decide to use exceptional healing? There's also been a distinct lack of memory tokens being used here. Ooh, good block.
Blocks all 3. Well, blocks as much as he possibly could.
Well, even if he explodes the crit, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's 3 for 3. That's almost a waste of power there. Okay, so Logan survives the Domino onslaught.
That's a very unfortunate turn from Domino. You'd like to see her do a lot more than that.
Now,
especially against an incinerated target. But
yeah, X20.
It's a dice game.
X23 could have a really, really disgusting turn here. Now, even though Honey Badger's out of position, there's a frenzy to be had here. You could make Domino drop the objective. You could drop Storm. This could be a great turn. And this is the choice. The choice that Lou has. Does he want to go for the dossier? Does he want to move away from the action?
I think that I prefer your Frenzy play over the Dossier play. He's already got Sabretooth and Logan over near the Dossier. Um, and I don't know that. Uh,
Okay, he's doing a 6 die
I'm,
claw rush.
gets a one reroll
Mm-hmm.
or three.
Domino's only blocking two with cover, so only takes one. Forgot cover. Okay. Uh, so X23 also gets a medium move off of the claw rush.
X23 is within two of Domino. I don't think that she forgot cover. I think
Oh,
she's
it
too
is.
close
Oh,
for it.
you're right. That is within range 2. My apologies. So he needs to remember he gets a medium move off of this, which it looks like he has. So he gets a medium move, and then he can trigger Frenzy. So there's the medium move. Well measured for the place. He can pick up that objective without taking any damage.
Does he have to move the full medium? Why did he get so far away? Because he's going for the Dossier?
He's going for the Dossier. Because he can spend 2 for Frenzy to go and pick up the Dossier and then still have an action to move back if he wants to. He's not going to be able to get back in range, but he's out of danger range from Rogue and Storm. He can't attack anybody with the second half of Frenzy, but it's an extra move. Or he could just go back into the fray.
This is what I would have done. I would have just moved into the fray in the first place. Like, Domino had quite a bit of range to drop that token. He does have to move before he can pick the token up, and I do register that, but he doesn't have to go the full medium. So he could move anywhere, pick that token up, and still be in range to attack Storm, who is incinerated, which would have been my target.
Mm-hmm. Well, he still has the power to. He still has the power to spend for Frenzy.
Looks like he's attacking Rogue.
He chose not to use Frenzy. Yeah, he's going to claw rush into Rogue. Rogue is that's 1 for the. Oh Lord.
Oh, that's a good hit.
Oh
that
Lord.
A good hit.
But he doesn't have the power for Frenzy, which is going to make this move a little more sad. But he has 1 power left. He might be advancing away after this anyway. So 2 blocks, 3 blocks with cover. Pierce gets rid of 1 for 2. Increased to 3, so he should only be taking 2 damage with the damage reduction. And then, yeah, spending his medium move off of that to get within range of the Dossier. As long as he stays within range 2 of either of his friends, he also gets the friendship bonus, the friendship victory point.
Was he not in range to hit Storm?
No,
or is it just better to plink at Rogue?
He was just out of range of Storm.
Okay. If he'd been in range of Storm, I definitely feel like that would have been my target in that scenario. But
100%.
I'm not going to argue with putting 2 damage on Storm on Rogue. She's a very tanky character, and anytime you can put damage on her, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm. I think Lou has come to terms with the fact that Honey Badger is not going to be of this world for much longer. But I would also expect Storm to go first here. Now,
with Rogue being as wounded as she is, I might go with Rogue. She still hits pretty hard, and it'd be nice to just make sure that that Honey Badger isn't going to do anything.
I'm intrigued to see what Amakua decides he wants to do here, because all of the extracts are on the bottom of our picture here. Apex, Logan, and X23. She's going to want to come down here and try and start dropping them. She won't be able to pick any of them up because she's holding one, but taking points away from Lou is the name of the game here.
Yeah.
Now, this is technically an 8-point game.
I was just about to say, Amuka, what's this guy's name? Red is within range of winning the game this turn.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Schick says he can't frenzy if he interacts with the extract. At that point, he missed his window. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you are. My apologies. Lucas joined us for one of our streams a couple of weeks ago, and it was nice having an official accuser in the on the stream. The power of friendship, yeah. All right, so it looks like Rogue is going into 3 defense dice, so it looks like it's going into either Sabretooth or X-23. Because Sabretooth does have energy, and Rogue can switch to energy if she so sees fit. Whatever the case, someone's taking 3 damage.
I apologize. I said Amukawa was in range to get his 6 points this turn. There's absolutely no way that he can. He's only got 2 non-dazed characters, only one of which is actually holding a disturbance. This should be a good turn scoring for Lou.
Mm-hmm. If Lou
had yellow.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say if Lou had ended up on the back flaming portal and was able to drop Storm, there's a chance for an 8-point swing.
Yeah. So it's actually Lou that's in a better chance of ending the game this turn.
Yeah. Well, he won't be able to end it this turn because he's only got the one character that can actually interact with points.
Yeah.
So X-23 was just pinged, so I believe that Rogue is going to be using her Spender, Southern Hospitality. I think.
It's a 5 dice attack.
Oh, so it's just going to be the builder then. Oh, she's using Mutant Absorption. So she's spending power to remove power. And if the target doesn't have any power to lose, then they lose health instead. So she was able to use Mutant Absorption onto X-23.
Looks like she only got 1 hit.
Yep, but doesn't gain power for it, which is more importantly. So she doesn't fuel up X-23 for an exceptional healing. So so that must have been a move action. Oh no, there was an attack attached to it. Oh, she attacked Logan. I'm sorry, I feel so amateur. She moved in, she attacked Logan, did 1 point of damage, then did a Mutant Absorption. So she has 1 action left. She's got lots of choices to go for here. And I think that Amakua, my apologies, he's got lots of choices here, and none of them are great.
If he's in range to hit that Logan, only needs to do 1 more damage, denies him a point, and gets Logan off the table.
Mm-hmm.
That feels really good.
It does indeed. I'm a little nervous for Storm.
So she does have a throw, but it can only be terrain, and there's no terrain around.
There is a size 1 lamppost right beside her.
Yeah, but not within 2.
Of Rogue? Looks like it would be.
Oh, sorry, the one behind her. I was looking at the traffic signal. The lamppost might be.
But that's 2 damage, and he gets to roll 4 dice.
That's true. But if she attacks and the attack doesn't go through... Oh, no, she doesn't have the power. Moot point.
Moot.
There's also something to be said about the fact that it is coming up on midnight, so... Not quite as sharp as I've been before, but...
Well, that's okay. We had a bit of a late start. And we've had a lot of difficult decisions, I think, to make in this game. I think there was... as we mentioned earlier, the X-Men roster isn't as punchy as other rosters that we can see. So every move does have to be thought out very well, and whether Colossus is going to take some of those attacks has been quite the point of discussion for him as well. I think so far he's made the right choices. Where are you going, Rogue? Going into Logan.
I feel like that's the right play. That's definitely what I would be doing.
So it's going to be 7 dice builder. Or 7 dice spender, sorry. Wait. And then only the 3. 1 damage is going through. That is a deceased Logan.
That's an interesting placement.
Well, I think
I
he's
guess it's just because he
yeah,
can't pick it up, so he doesn't want any of them to pick it up either.
makes the most sense.
Yeah, gets it away from Colossus so he can't pick it up.
Okay.
Wait, no, he is Colossus.
Yeah, he is Colossus. I think he was looking at Domino.
Domino getting over there, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Is as I was saying before, the fact that Lou the Lunatic is blue at the top of the screen but yellow in the actual game, I don't know why such a simple thing keeps messing me up, but it absolutely is.
All right. Well, Honey Badger is about to trying to cut Storm up a little bit. Getting 3 through, and yeah, that's 3 damage. That's a dazed Storm.
The Storm.
So then Honey Badger is free to go where she wants, and there's no real benefit to going to an objective. So might as well move closer to this swirling melee that seems to have developed on the outside of on the periphery of battle.
She is in a position where she could get in between, it looks like all 3 of these characters in Rogue, Domino, and Colossus. Puts a huge target on her back, but for 1 attack, she's going to be able to give, not Incinerate, Ankle Biter to a character to make their attack much stronger.
Mm-hmm. More importantly, I feel, is she has 5 power, which means that assuming she takes no damage from 1 attack, she can too dangerous to ignore 2 attacks. And she'll be in range of all 3 of them, so she can take an attack from whoever decides to go first on the next round.
That's fair.
What a bloodthirsty turn. 2 KOs, 3 dazes, and we still have Domino to go. Can Domino get within range 4 of Rogue? Because a lucky grenade bounce would put it over the edge. Yeah, there you go. She's moving within... Are we getting within range 3 or 4? We're getting within range 3. You gonna grenade bounce, or are you just gonna automatic pistols?
Grenade Bounce is nice, gives the Incinerate, and if you get the Explosive off, you feel pretty good with so many characters nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but 2 of them are dazed, so never mind.
Ooh, I think Luke might have forgotten he has exceptional healing. I don't know if you can see the Team Tactics cards on the left-hand side there, but there's a duplicate copy of Are You Sure You Want to Remember that I think the players created to make sure it still showed up at the top.
Yeah, they were moving some things around at one point.
Yeah, but now the bottom one, if you hold your mouse over it, it says there's 2 cards there. So I don't, like, it hasn't been used, and I don't think he remembers that he has it. So this is an automatic pistols attack. He gets the rapid fire, so he gets the second shot off. And Rogue absolutely...
Rogue blocks the heck out of that.
tanks the first one. Does Rogue have 4 energy defense? No, she doesn't. So this has to be an automatic pistols attack.
That's better. That's 3 with a crit.
A little bit better. That's
3, and he blocks 3. So
yeah, there we go. That's okay.
That's too bad.
Domino generates 2 power. Can have an effective turn next turn if she wants.
Well, and she is going to get the point in the middle too.
Yep, absolutely.
Lou is technically behind on points at this point, so that does help.
Yep, that's going to be a 5-2. The friendship bonus does still activate on dazed characters, depending on if the players are aware of that, because currently he's only scoring the 1.
Yeah, he should have gained 2 points for that. Yep, either way, though, Lou takes the lead for the first time in this game.
Mm-hmm. And priority goes to the side of Amakua. So where do you go, Dan? Who? If you are excellent, who do you go first with here?
Yeah, Stormy is. That's a great question. I don't have a fantastic answer to. Does Colossus have a character throw?
He does not. I think
He
it's
does not.
just terrain.
Interactive terrain. So him and Rogue can both only throw terrain. I would love to throw Honey Badger right out of there. I might do a Colossus spender into Sabretooth. He's got Incinerate, and if you can give him the stagger, he's going to be significantly less effective. But I don't love having. It looks like only two characters, not all three, but still with the Incinerate from Honey Badger there. Uh, yeah, it might be Colossus.
You got to
Actually,
remember.
Colossus might go pick up a Disturbance.
Yeah, he might absolutely.
Because you don't want to lose by points.
Honey Badger.
Sorry, what do I have to remember?
I'll say Honey Badger is a magnet right now. She has 2 dangers to ignore on all of the characters that are there.
Oh, that's true.
So
you might spend all that power to do something to Sabretooth and just knock her out anyways.
Well, he would declare the target first, and then 2 dangers to ignore be played. So before he spends power for a spender.
That's how it should happen.
Yes.
But I think you know as well as I do that a lot of times people declare what attack they're making before who they're attacking.
It's true. Shield has taught us to be patient.
Yeah.
With Eye in the Sky. So what are we measuring range to from here? I think he's trying to think if he can charge out of range with Rogue, maybe? I'm intrigued. You're right. There is a disturbance in the bottom there. It's 5 points. 5 points for Amakua to win. There's more than 5, but Lou only needs 3. And if we're going to be not cynical, if we're going to be realistic, he only needs 2 to win because Jonathan has been the absolute secret MVP.
Yeah.
3 rounds, 3 points. Has kept Lou firmly in the game. So it is going to be Rogue.
But what is she going to do? He's hovering over Honey Badger. He's Rogue into Honey Badger.
I think makes sense. If you're not going to charge to get out of range, then I think it makes sense.
I might have, even if that's the result I wanted, maybe I would have gone into Sabretooth and forced him to spend the power to go into Honey Badger. But I guess if that's the result you wanted, you want to make sure that that's what happens. 1 hit and
Woof.
1 block.
Woof.
That's really unfortunate.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that at all. So now he's got a very, very difficult decision to make.
He could do Mutant Absorption into Honey Badger. It wouldn't deal any damage, but it could get rid of her ability to bodyguard.
You'd need to roll all 5 successes for that to happen.
Her bodyguard is 1?
Her bodyguard's costs 2. So if he only rolls 4, then she ends with 2 power.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's a tough decision. He can't charge and get the disturbance. Well, he can't get the disturbance. Sorry, he already has one. But he could charge out and attack somebody, charge out of the bodyguard range. He is spending 2. He is charging. Unless he is using a mutant absorption. Oh, he is charging. And he wants to go and punch X-23.
I don't disagree with this move. I just might have had it been my first and then second move as opposed to just the second. If you want to get rid of X-23, I would just go hard at X-23.
I think it's a little bit of a mistake to move out of bodyguard range of Colossus.
Getting hit for 2 with an explosion.
X-23 is not dying.
No, she is not.
In fact, she's gonna block it all. She does sap a power though.
Now, the has Lou just completely forgotten about his leadership? Like, I don't see any of the tokens there, and he
He's
has been getting dazed.
he has been spending a bunch. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that have been forgotten. There's an exceptional healing. Um, I haven't seen a whole lot of memory tokens since after the second round.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a few things that are being missed, but it's still making for a very entertaining game.
absolutely.
If we assume that everything has gone well, then all 10 team tactics cards have been used.
Most of them round one.
Yeah. So now that's a good question because we've got X20. All of the Weapon X characters are in fantastic spots. We've got X23, who could just have her absolute choice of wherever she wants to go. She is holding the dossier. She gets to roll 2 extra dice here, and she has a long movement. I say pick of the litter. She's out of range of Domino, but she can go into Colossus. She could go into Rogue.
I
And
think. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you first.
Uh, I think leaving Rogue alone makes perfect sense because she just doesn't really matter at this point. If you can get rid of Colossus, which will be quite the feat, but if you can do that, then that really limits the chance of that disturbance getting picked up.
I
And
think
at this point, I think Lou is in a very good place to win this game and kind of just needs to negate Amakua's ability to gain more points.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Rogue is a non-factor. She's 1 victory point off on the side, and this is a huge X23 roll. That is 7 with a
That's
pierce.
disgusting.
That is 7 with a pierce. So that means that he'll only be reduced. He has cover. No, he's within range 2.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he's only blocking 2. Pierce actually doesn't do anything. Does he count blanks on this side? He does.
Colossus?
Okay, so Pierce doesn't actually do anything, so he blocks 2, reduces by 1, and will take 4.
That feels good.
Does feel good, and feels better for X23 because now she has the power for a Claw Rush if she decides she wants to go a little bigger. That'll be an 8 dice physical attack with a medium move attached to it as well.
And she'd still have the power after that to do a frenzy if she does manage to talk him out. So he's in a great position.
He's in pretty good. Pretty good. Spending 2. That would be a Claw Rush. And it looks like they gestured over Colossus, so same thing, more dice.
Let's see if he can keep that dice roll up. It doesn't look as pretty, but it's not bad. 5 is very good.
Colossus is rolling 4. 4 blocks. Now the Pierce doesn't do anything here. And he's only going to be squeaking 1 point of damage through. Yeah, Colossus gets very tanky on his injured side where he counts blanks on physical and energy attacks.
Apparently, that was awful. I mean, like, in a good way.
It works really, really well into Weapon X. Most of these characters have Pierce.
Yeah. Yeah, to roll that many dice, get that many hits, and have basically nothing happen, that's unfortunate. I mean, unfortunate for Lou. It's fantastic for...
Mm-hmm. Now, X23 has a medium move attached to this as well. You're playing for victory points. I think you just run away.
I agree with that. Basically, all you need to do is hold the points you've already got.
He didn't move. He didn't move off of the Claw Rush. Wild.
Interesting.
Okay. That. Okay. Okay.
So
No, you know what? He's hovering. He's hovering. I think he does remember. He absolutely does.
okay.
But he's going that way. We actually had a very similar scenario like this happen in Luke's last game. He had Hulk in a very, very good position on a game that was already won, and the correct choice was just to run away. Was just to run away and secure the points.
Mhm.
Moving into this position right here seems very risky because you are Honey Badger is within. Was Colossus supposed to be rolling one fewer defense dice?
He definitely should have been.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if that's what the players are discussing. But this is really risky because Colossus has enough power for a double spender, and if one of those spenders goes really well, and Luke doesn't remember that he has exceptional healing, then Honey Badger could go down and X23 go down if he rolls really well. But Domino is also
Yeah.
still there as well.
Both the characters have 5 hit points. That would have to be a phenomenal roll.
We've seen crazy things happen.
You're not wrong.
I think
It's been a very interesting game that way.
I think the players are just remembering Ankle Biter right now. So yeah, this is a very interesting point to bring up. Is in certain scenarios where players forget rules. This is one of those games where the players really do have the kind of like the ultimate say of what happens. You can miss windows, you can miss opportunities, but as long as you're willing to discuss these things with your opponent and come to an amicable decision or an amicable resolution, then everything
Yeah.
should work out. So in this case, they might be deciding, hey, do we just re-roll the entire thing? How would you
Oh,
propose this a resolution here, Dan?
to be perfectly honest, I don't remember how the first dice roll went, but the second dice roll, if you remove a dice from it, absolutely that is one extra damage going through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I personally am usually the way that I play is if I misroll how many dice I'm supposed to roll, I re-roll everything on my side. We know that X23 got 5 hits and he docked 4 of them, so I would re-roll my 4, except I would re-roll 3, obviously, and see what I get from that. If I get lucky and block it all again, so be it. If I do not, then that's on me because I misrolled the first time. As for the first roll, I you might just have to re-roll that entire thing. I don't remember what the dice rolls were on either side. It looks like they might just be progressing though.
I think they've
Chalk
decided.
it up as a loss.
Yep, they think they've decided to move past it. This is obviously one of the more common outcomes when you've got to a point where you feel like too much of the game has passed. It would be disruptive to go back.
Yeah.
So then your Amakua, who do you go with here? Rogue is already gone. You've got Domino and Colossus. You got Storm off on the side. Storm's got a lot of power, and she can have influential turns. But who do you go with?
I go with Colossus. I that's a good call. I don't know. On one hand, I really want to go pick up that disturbance, but that's going to severely limit what I can do for the turn. And Lou is already in a position where he's going to just win if I don't take points away from him. So it's actually more beneficial to knock out X23, have him drop the point, and try and pick the point up from that one, as opposed to run away and get the point that I know I can get.
And
Because by going and getting the point I know I can get, but leaving X23 to get that point, he's just going to win the game, and it doesn't matter that I came in close second. Second is a loss.
Honey Badger is a pain in the butt piece right now. Because you're right. The smart thing to do here is to drop X23, but that can't happen with Honey Badger on the table. Oh, sorry, it can't happen with Honey Badger being right where she is.
Yeah.
Now, Storm does have a character throw, doesn't she?
I think so.
She does, yeah. terrain feature or enemy character, both of size 2, within 3, and throw at medium. So I think that that's the play that's being calculated right here. It would require a move. No, I think she's in range 3 now.
I think she's in range 3 to throw Honey Badger. It's maybe just out. But if she can pick Honey Badger up and throw her at Domino, that solves a lot of problems.
It solves a few of them, and I think that's exactly what's happening. Maybe not throwing into Domino, but throwing just out of harm's way. Or further into harm's way.
I was gonna say that's an interesting. I mean, I appreciate that you want X-23 to go down, but at this point, X-23 is gaining you 1 point, and Domino is also gaining you 1 point. Okay, that's a bit better of positioning. You throw it on this side, so at least you're not in that ankle bite wheelhouse. But if she's still within range to block or to bodyguard, then that's still a problem.
So this is another niche interaction. Honey Badger needs to miss everybody. Honey Badger can't take. If Honey Badger takes damage, then you can proc Little Sis off, or Big Sis off of it, because I believe it's from an enemy effect.
And that would just allow Laura Kinney to move?
Yes. Move medium towards the character that caused the effect. So she'd be able to move medium towards Storm, which gets her out, which renders Colossus somewhat useless. Yeah, so gonna completely dodge everybody. That's the smart play. No potential movement shenanigans off of it, and then probably just the lightning shock. Put a little extra damage onto her. But again, that would allow Honey Badger to move again. So I think she's spending power for Summon the Storm, or Eye of the Storm. So the next attack adds 2 extra dice. So she's going to do a 6-die lightning bolt into Honey Badger. Now again, if this does damage, X-23 gets to move,
which negates the whole point of doing what you did. So is he hitting Honey Badger? Or is he hitting Domino?
That's 2 dice. I think he's actually yeah. I think it's going in.
Domino makes more sense.
But it's 2 dice. It could be any of them.
Yeah.
It was Domino. Okay.
And because there's no point in like measuring it out so specifically to not have Honey Badger deal any damage, just to deal damage to Honey Badger.
So then, Honey Badger just moves back. So that was the first attack. There is now a second attack that can happen here.
Now, is there a reason he's not attacking Domino again? Just trying to get her off the board. She's only got 2 defense and just negate a point.
I think he's focusing a little bit more on. Why is he rolling 6? Oh, he spent power for Summon the Storm here. I think he's just looking to hand out the shocks to prevent a clackback. This is going into X-23.
I don't know that he needs to worry about the clapback. I think he needs to worry about the points.
So that went on to X-23. Are we gonna Big Sister off of this? I think we are. Now, there is a toggle on those tools as well. If you press 6, you can put this tool down, but you can hit a toggle towards and then hold it directly over Storm, so you don't have to do any guesswork.
Interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah, so now he can hold on to the tool, hold it directly over. Yeah, just go hold it over Storm, Luke.
I think he's teaching him that as well.
Yeah. So right now, right now, Honey Badger, as a result of the little sis, can move directly back to where she was.
Yep.
Yep. Maybe not exactly.
Not quite, but close enough to get the thing done.
Yep, close enough to put her back into bodyguard range, which is exactly what was needed. Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, what an intro. I'm with you here. I don't know why you just didn't go into Domino again, because
Yeah.
attacking X-23, sure, you put an extra damage onto her, but no, okay,
I just I
yep,
just don't think that she cares about that one damage.
no, I would agree. Okay, so Sabretooth is going to go next. Sabretooth, I think, is most likely going to try and punch into. I would probably go into Domino here, try and get her off the board. I don't think Colossus has too much threat.
I mean, either I
Uh,
might disagree with you there. If you can get the 2 damage in on Colossus, he's just a piece that's off the board. Then you've only got the ability to score with well, you've only got 1 turn left with Domino. He can't possibly get enough points to matter, and that's basically game. If you can kill Colossus, the game is over.
he is going for the Colossus. He didn't do a whole lot that turn. It was one attack, one success to one blank. So I think he's just doing it again here. 5 dice physical from Sabretooth going into Colossus. Oh, no, going into Domino this
Oh,
time.
into
Interesting.
Domino.
Now, Domino is pseudo incinerated with Ankle Biter,
Mm-hmm.
and the crit doesn't explode. But he's gonna roll it anyway.
But he's rolling it anyways. So
Ooh, huge
should be
block.
4.
Huge block. That is. Oh, sorry. This is going into Colossus. Never mind. He rolled 4 dice. Colossus takes 1 point of damage. Has a 1 left.
But how does this work? Nope. Both of his attacks are. I was hoping he'd be able to primal pounce off that. I was thinking he would be able to, but he didn't gain enough power.
Now Colossus has absolutely no choice. He has to double attack. He cannot pick up a disturbance. Well, no, that's a lie. He can't pick up a He can't pick up the bottom disturbance, but he can pick up a disturbance that either Apex or X-23 drops, as long as he
Yeah.
stays within range 2 of Domino.
And X-23 of those two, I think, is the better target. Although Apex does have Incinerate, she only has 4 wounds left, whereas he's got 7 wounds left, and it would remove her from the game,
And
getting rid of his leadership.
Yep, there is still a 5 health Honey Badger there, making an absolute nuisance of herself.
Honey Badger has been low-key the all-star of this game, between the Jonathan token and just being a nuisance. Haven't seen very much Ankle Biter, but just having the bodyguard online is making for a lot of tough decisions.
I agree. So the tough decisions continue. I think that this is forcing Colossus to move first. I think that's what was being measured there. Oh, excuse me.
Me too. 2 damage to ignore. Okay, so he has to get within 2 of her.
So I think this might be an appropriate time to bring it up, but we were singing the praises of Colossus nice and early on, and he's a very tanky piece. He's been very difficult to take down. But now we get to the point where the game is to be decided, and we're looking at it, and it's one of those, like, is Colossus up to the task? Is this something that is in his wheelhouse? Is this something that he can achieve? He has to be able to take down effectively two entire characters worth of health bars in this action alone.
And after he's done doing that, he also needs to survive a double tap from Domino
Mm-hmm.
with only one life. So
Yeah.
I think he's done okay up to this point. I don't see him um, knocking it out of the park at this point. I think he's going to fall short. Now, the last time I said that, he rolled like 9 hits. So who knows?
The one time he needed to show up, he did.
Absolutely.
Lots of difficult decisions to make from Amakua, and it looks like Domino is attacking Domino.
Think so.
Luke needs to remember that he is incinerated.
Incinerated's optional, right?
I wish. It is somewhat impactful here. He is blocked. He's blocked two, and again, it's just a matter as if the players they caught it perfect. So he's now going to roll his 2 dice, and is blocking 1. Crits don't explode in this Domino versus Domino matchup, which is awful because neither Domino can spend power to make their crits their skulls explode, and there was no rapid fire there. So this is very disappointing. I guess theoretically he could spend the power, make the skull count as a crit, and it just wouldn't explode.
It wouldn't explode. It would still get through, though.
Yeah, it would be 1 damage, so it could be worth it. I think that's what
Yeah.
he might be. He might be weighing that up. The bummer here is not getting the rapid fire.
That's true, but you're going to gain a power from the rapid fire attack, so it's not costing you anything, and it gets 1 damage through. I think it's the choice I'd be making, unless he's building towards something. But I don't think she's got anything expensive on her card, does she?
She's got a lucky shot, which is I don't know. It applies stun. You don't gain power for it, but
It's a guaranteed 2 extra dice, but it's a potentially 2 less dice.
correct. So I think now she's looking to Storm Hop. Yep. And then going into X-23 with presumably a rapid fire automatic pistols. Uh-oh. Yeah, Honey Badger just spent 2 power there thinking they could bodyguard it. I think that they're having that discussion now. Yeah, Honey Badger has to be within 2 of the attacker, not the target.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, okay. So we're going to do... Domino is going to go into X-23.
Can't quite tell, but it looks like she will have cover. It doesn't look like she's within 2.
Oh, no. Okay, well, at least he gets to spend the 1 power to explode that critical. Oh my goodness. Complete whiff roll from both players. Okay, well, apparently the dice aren't... We're not the only things getting tired, Dan. I think the dice are starting to get tired, too. So that's going to be 2 points of damage going through on X-23, and that's the final action from... She didn't trigger a single rapid fire off of those. That's very upsetting. So now Domino just gets to shoot into Colossus, right?
Looks like.
And then that's game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game right now.
Yeah, you're right. I think that that's
Has Colossus gone?
Colossus hasn't gone yet, no. So Colossus can still go. Lou, I think they just called it because Lou's score has gone to 0.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think they just called it. Um, we'll stick around.
It
We'll
went
stick around just in case.
significantly past zero. I actually think once you go to 18.
I think that the players have probably called it here. What a weird way that this game went. We were
There was a couple of decisions at the end there that I don't 100% know that I agree with or even understand. Um, but maybe I just play a very different game.
I think it was extremely funny that we were talking about just how bloody the game was going to be along the center line here, and then the game was kind of bloody. Like we've only had two knockouts, but lots of dazes, and it didn't happen anywhere close to where I thought it was gonna happen. We just started fighting in this little parking lot over here, like.
Everybody just avoided the demons like entirely. The Jonathan is like burning to a crisp back here. Absolute MVP. But
Jonathan,
everybody else is just like, no, I don't want to be on fire. I'm good.
Jonathan the Unstoppable. What a wow! What a cool game! What a cool game! We get to see a couple of pieces that we weren't too used to seeing. Colossus and Jonathan. They both played a pretty huge part.
Mhm.
I'm very like the game. It was almost like the map was tilted. They couldn't help but come to this side of the map. Like
Yeah.
Colossus kept
Like
moving
it all
this
ran
way.
downhill over here.
Yeah, it was very peculiar to see, and it was just weird. Like it was weird watching characters be like, "Oh, but I want to stay relevant," so they just came over here and joined in.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
There was a lot of like one attacks where they would like, oh, I'm gonna attack Domino and not finish her off and then attack somebody else instead. I'm like,
yeah,
why? I can't wrap my head around what you're doing right now. Or like the play where he like threw Honey Badger away and then attacked in a way that allowed her to come back. I'm just like, that was so close to being a good play, and
mhm.
it just didn't make sense to me.
There were some half plays that started materializing. There were some odd choices. I can't wait to talk to Luke after the game and
Yeah,
kind of get his insight. Maybe on a different night
yeah,
when it isn't 12 o'clock.
yeah. I think I'm gonna leave you
Yeah,
at the
no,
moment.
I
If you want
was
to do an after show with them, that's totally fine.
no,
It's been fantastic, but it's just way too late for me.
no, no problem. I was actually just about to wrap it up anyway. So I thank you very much for joining me, Dan.
Absolutely.
I hope we had fun.
I had a great time. I hope you all had a wonderful time. Thank you to everybody who has stuck with us this far. And yeah, have a great night.
Ciao for now. Well, as I alluded to earlier, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's how far. That's what we're going to call. Looks like Lou has gone 2-0 in this mini bracket right here. What a fantastic game! It was very interesting. There's lots of cool talking points. If there was anything that's kind of unclear about this, Dan mentioned it earlier. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I will read them. I will like them. I will also respond to every single one. I want to make sure that people who are interested in getting to this game are getting the illumination that they deserve. That they deserve. This game is absolutely wonderful. Every game works a little bit differently, and every character interaction is always very very cool and exciting. But again, thank you very much for joining us here at Lovable Misfits. I really hope that you enjoy the content, and please consider dropping a like and subscribe to the channel to see anytime we go live. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Night.